Hello, adventurers!
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this here Adventure Hour. We are with the lovely Rebecca Dawson and my co-host, Brett Ludwig. I
Hello.
myself am Emily Craven. Now, we always start the top of this Adventure Hour by letting people know exactly what adventure we are going to be going on today so that they can get excited about it. So today's adventure is one called The Agency. And The Agency is about a rookie agent for Australia's secret extraterrestrial agency. You must investigate an alien mystery in the small country town of Barmera. Are the inhabitants being preyed upon by a dangerous alien technology, or are they being replaced? Dun dun dun!
Nice.
So that is our adventure for today, folks. That's what we are going to be live reading, arguing our way through. I am your co-host, Emily Craven. I am the CEO of Story City. We are a locative storytelling app that allows you to explore the real world by being a hero of your own adventure using the Story City GPS app. GPS app.
GPS. Yeah,
on,
baby.
on your phone. And so today, while we will be doing our adventure, we will also be bringing up the very handy, very technical Google Street View and Street Maps so that you can explore Barmera with us as we are taking on our adventure. Here to my top right is my co-host, Brett Ludwig. He is the wonderful, fabulous CTO of Story City, but he is also a wonderful singer putting on an a cappella festival in Edmonton. If anyone listening here is from Canada and is in Edmonton, Sing Edmonton a cappella festival happening March 4th to 6th. And you can come and hear the real group sing. You can come and hear 6-minute warning sing. And you can just come and have fun with a bunch of singing nerds. It's like Pitch Perfect in Alberta. So there you go.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that's going to be.
Yeah.
And then here on my bottom right, we have the absolutely lovely Rebecca Dawson. Thank you
Hi.
for joining us, Rebecca. Now,
Thank you for having me.
we're across time zones. We've got a couple of people here in Canada. Rebecca's out of Australia.
Yep.
Rebecca, can you tell us a little bit about what you are up to these days?
I would say at the moment I'm really doing the whole reclusive artist thing, minus the art part. I'm currently posting from Area 51. I haven't done a lot of art in a long time, but hopefully this will get me inspired to start it up again and have a bit of fun with art again. So yeah.
I remember that when we first met, because as with a lot of meetings in this era, it was digital, and so you were living in Barmera,
Yes.
and so this particular adventure was actually a part of a live theatre, I suppose, piece. So they had the festival that was happening in Barmera, and so they actually had a youth theatre troupe acting out bits of the story. Did you get to see them acted out live?
Yeah, so shout out to Riverland Youth Theatre. So that was sort of where I first, I guess, tried out for the Story City thing, and they're fantastic, and I initially lived in Barmera, and that inspired my walks through Barmera inspired a lot of the locations and a lot of the little details in the story. So yeah.
Yeah, which I'm very much looking forward to. so the artwork that you will be seeing in today's piece is by the wonderful Remy Catchlove. And so she was also a local Barmera visual artist who did some great pieces for this particular adventure. And then we also have the wonderful Tim Whitt, who is the musician for this particular piece. He hails from Adelaide. You may also hear him on other Adelaide adventures, such as the I think it is the Adelaide Time Travel Caper, but he is also, doing fringe shows at the moment as well. Awesome. So Adelaide Fringe is this month, and he's really worth a live show. So if anyone is around and they see Tim Whitt, or I think it's Whitt Sound is what he goes by, definitely go check him out in Adelaide. The Riverland Youth Theatre did some really cool, funky stuff with this particular story. But we do not have any footage of. Rebecca, is this your
what? I mean, I cannot confirm with anything. That is a real shame. I want to say as well, shout out to like the Riverland, Barmera, Barry, Loxton, etc. They've had a really rough start of the year with flooding over there. And they can use all of the, the tourism and the business that they can get. So definitely head down there, see Barmera in person, see Lake Bonny in person,
Yeah, and Barmera is 3 hours from Adelaide in South Australia, and and it's a lovely region. There's wineries there, people go water skiing on the Murray River, and there's really a lot to kind of it's a great kind of country town atmosphere, and there's great camping there. And you're right, they had a horrible flooding season this year. They reckon it's going to take them a couple of years to help them clean up. So go out, help them out, visit a part of Australia that you may have never been before and never realised was there, and maybe while you're there, you can try a different path through this adventure than what we end up going on today. So, with the creation of like this, because I understand that it's not a regular thing for a writer to do, like choose your own adventures. How did you find that?
So I do remember Choose Your Own Adventure books, like the original ones, reading them like way back in primary school. And I always thought they were really, really fun. And so that was kind of what I was initially thinking of, kind of in the back of my mind. And it's basically that, but like more updated with the technology. It was different, but it was a really fun way to like see all the different ways a story could go depending on your choices.
I think that I remember when I was when I was writing my own Choose Your Own Adventures, I think the hardest thing was the endings, right? Because you could sometimes end up playing 8 different endings to this.
Yep.
Did you like run out of endings halfway through, and then just get more and more ridiculous as you go along?
Yes. You have to be like, oh, okay, so I've done this ending, like the obvious one, but it's kind of good because it forces you to go from like the first obvious idea and then be like, okay, what's least obvious, and then kind of stretch things a little bit in that kind of sense.
I think it was John Cleese was giving some sort of commencement speech, and he was like, the best Monty Python sketches were the ones where they played an hour or 2 hours past the obvious ending of a sketch.
Yeah.
They just kept playing around with how that ended until they got to an ending that was like surprising and funny, and you have to be willing to play beyond that obvious piece. And I think that I hope that I've taken that a little bit into my own like novels and things, where I'll be like, okay, this is the obvious ending, but what happens if I play this way? What happens if I play that way?
Yeah.
It's kind of it's a really handy skill set to have.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely as a writer.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we are starting off at the Barmera Visitors Center. Look at this. Isn't this delightful? Hello, Barbara. You can see rendered perfectly here in the artwork by Remy. Um, and so this is our lovely visitor center here. You can definitely see the different landscape, all of the eucalyptus trees here. We've got some palms, so we can see why our Australian Men in Black style agent is wearing a Hawaiian shirt, right? Like that's how we rock it in Australia. Is to walk around in Crocs, or actually you can't see that here in this screencast because we've got the away, but Crocs. We're wearing green Crocs.
Yeah, I thought like if we 100% had our own Men in Black type thing, we would not be rocking the suits in Australia. Like we're just way too casual for that.
Yeah, we're too casual. It would stand out too much. Honestly, Chris Hemsworth being in a suit in the new Men in Black movie, it was just not realistic. Chris, what were you doing? So we're at the wonderful Balmoral Visitor Centre. You can see some lovely country roads all around us. Look at this, beautiful, beautiful. This is country Australia, everybody. Right here, quintessential country Australia. Looks a bit dusty, looks a bit dry, still somehow, like, I'm pretty sure that's probably oh no, I was like, I'm sure this would be AstroTurf, but look, you can see little dead patches there.
No,
so
it's
real grass. Real grass, although the mulch tends to be like the mainstay. All right, so Brett, shall we do as per usual and switch back and forth as narrator?
Yeah, I only have one request just looking at this, is that I want to be the commander when he talks.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
I have a glass of whiskey in hand, and my voice is just a little bit deeper than it normally is, so I think I got the commander's. It says Crackles, the commander's deep voice, so I'm on this today.
Okay, awesome. And so I do say in our social media post that you should bring your own story-themed drink. What's the theme of your story, Brett? Or your drink, Brett? What story theme is whiskey?
Well, I mean, if we're talking about like, the agency, this is the commander. He's sitting there from his command room being like, all right, agents, let's get this on the road.
And
you want like a little silly straw with that, like
yeah. The circ, yeah.
And I have Soda Stream laced with maple syrup. I call this one the Anne of Green Gables. Do they have maples on Prince Edward Island? I don't know, but that's what I'm going to call. That's my literary themed drink for the day. All right, here we go. Balmoral seems like a quiet, ordinary town. There's an information centre in front of you and a curving silver sculpture in the middle of the roundabout to the right. The wide streets and old buildings make the place feel settled and calm. It looks like the last place for an alien phenomena. Your new communicator badge beeps with an incoming message. It's your boss, Commander Oppenheimer, from the Australian Extraterrestrial Protection Agency.
Welcome to your first mission.
Crackles the commander's deep voice.
3 days ago, a meteorite crashed on the shore of Lake Bonny. Now, one of the local residents has died in mysterious circumstances.
Am I reading you as well?
You are all of the characters.
Okay, deal. What happened?
You ask. An image appears on your screen of a smiling, red-haired woman wearing a hat covered in bright pink flowers.
Dawn Edwards was a local artist. She didn't have many relatives, just an estranged sister. She became paranoid in the week before her death. She tried to set fire to a church and then barricaded herself in her home. The last anyone heard from her was in a message left at the local radio station 2 days ago.
Dawn Edwards' voice crackles over the speaker.
Listen, people in this town are being replaced. They don't sleep.
There's something wrong with their eyes. They're becoming zombies. They tried to get me to join them. They're going to strike in 48 hours.
The commander continues.
She was found yesterday morning underneath the clock tower. Her body was mummified, shriveled up like a prune. The case shows similarities to an outbreak of alien parasites we saw a few years back, but some aspects don't fit, so it could be a new sort of weapon. Whatever it is, we need to stop it. Dawn's time limit is almost upon us. There's only 4 hours left. Yes, sir.
You reply, your first mission, and it's a doozy.
One of our senior investigators, Agent Lang, will assist you. He's retiring soon, but he agreed to one last mission. Good luck.
As the transmission ends, an older man approaches you from across the street. He's not hard to miss. He's wearing the loudest Hawaiian shirt you have ever seen. Cargo shorts and bright green Crocs and wraparound sunnies. The ensemble is topped off with an Akubra hat with corks swinging from the brim.
I can't believe I'm about to
Do you
do
wanna-
an Australian accent
do you wanna
in
attempt-
front of
Do you want me to step in?
Come on. I think so. Go, Rebecca. Do it.
All right. G'day.
He says through a mouthful of pastry. It looks like vanilla slice.
Are you Agent Lang?
You ask.
You're not in uniform.
Lang winks.
Sometimes it helps to blend in with the locals.
You're not sure what locals he's blending in with, but you suppose that they're more likely to notice the loud shirt before they notice the badge.
So, you're the newbie.
He holds out a paper bag.
Cop some of this, mate. Best vanilla slice in the Riverland.
Maybe later.
So, first mission, the decision hot seat. Where to?
He asks, do you explore the area where they found Dawn's body? What was so important to search for that she left her homemade barricade? Or do we go to the funeral at the local Anglican church? Odds are you'll find some of the people Dawn thought were replaced. So, Brett, both Rebecca and I kind of know what happens in this story, so you get to take the hot seat on the initial start for the choices here.
So certainly the most intriguing initially is going to where we find Dawn's body, I think. Like talking about this new sort of weapon that might be happening and that it shows similarities to alien parasites. It seems like there's a lot of information to be gleaned from checking out where she is. And if we do find her body still there, then that seems like a lot of info that we could glean.
Okay, fair enough. You don't think that potentially there's some sadistic person waiting at a funeral being like, wah, I've got away with murder.
I think it's a high possibility. Like they're both great choices because like the funeral, like seeing a bunch of people who are like checking out what's happening, like that's a really good spot to look at potential criminals like you're saying.
Do you know what we call that in Australia, where the people are gathering to like check something out just because it's like the only interesting happening in the area?
I thought initially you were describing a funeral, but
No. No, like sticky beaking or rubbernecking.
Yeah.
Rubbernecking. Actually, I haven't heard of sticky bicky. That's great. We do have rubbernecking here.
Sticky beak.
Sticky beak.
Sticky beak is in your nose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay, so then, Rebecca, did you want to weigh in at all?
I will say that the fashion choices in this story have been, researched on the ground level. They're very accurate. I think it could go either way, but we'll go with Brett's choice with the seeing the body.
All right, let's go. We're going to go and do a little bit of forensic digging. And so that is going to be taking us to the clock tower, which honestly has one of my favored characters. So we are heading to the clock tower, and that's going to take us around the corner from the visitor center. So if I orient us this way, and that's our roundabout, and then the clock tower should be down this direction. And is this considered? No, that's the theatre.
Yeah, they have
The
some
clock
really
tower-
nice old
Clock tower's
architecture.
in the middle, is it? I think the clock tower's in the middle of the. Oh my God! Was not the clock tower here in the centre?
I think you might have to go further down.
Okay.
I hope they
Alright.
haven't gotten rid of it because it was a really nice, really nice clock tower.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good old 70s looking clock tower. No, too far. Too far. Damn you, Street View. Well, look, we can kind of see the clock there. We can see the lovely benches at the back.
That's pretty cool.
It's fine. All right. So, Brett, take away.
You're standing next to the clock tower. It's an old Art Deco monument with a pink trim around the base and some park benches nearby. You are struck by how still it is around you. Not the peace of a country town, but the silence after a bomb. Near the base of the tower, you notice something glittering. You pick it up. It's a tiny, broken piece of crystal that shines with a faint blue glow when the sun hits it. Lang snatches it out of your hand. Before you can stop him, he licks it. His eyes narrow like a wine taster analyzing a complex bouquet.
Definitely not quartz.
What if it's extraterrestrial?
You ask in horror.
Didn't you watch the safety videos?
Lang pulls out his scanner and examines the crystal.
You'll deal with worse than that, mate. Serve as long as I have and you develop a pretty strong immune system. Look at this.
He says as the scanner beeps.
It's an energy crystal. They're used in a lot of alien tech.
Like a battery?
You ask.
Sometimes. I can't tell where it's from, but it's been broken off. The energy's been drained.
Could you use it on a person?
You wonder.
To say, drain them to the point they're a prune?
Lang's eyes narrow.
Maybe, with a big enough crystal and the right machinery.
An idea occurs to you.
If this is a fragment, could we use this to trace the original?
Lang smiles.
You're a keeper. Well done. Let me find the crystal's frequency. Aha!
There's an odd beep, and Lang frowns at his scanner.
Oh, that's weird. I'm getting a lot of interference from another agent's communication beacon. But we're the only ones. Oh, nope, it's gone. Must be an error. This thing's bloody useless.
He jabs at it with a finger. Just then, a woman approaches you. She has long red hair in a plait, wears yoga pants, and a string of beads around her neck.
Hello there. I haven't seen you two in town before. Just visiting.
She smiles, but there's weariness in her eyes.
Just on holiday with my uncle.
You lie. Lang gives a friendly wave.
G'day, love.
What's your name?
You ask?
Beryl Edwards.
She replies. You try to keep your expression neutral as you realize this must be Dawn's sister. They have the same red hair.
You knew Dawn then. I'm sorry for your loss.
You realize as soon as you say it, you're being too familiar. Her expression turns cold.
Yes. Sorry, I have to go now. Perhaps you might be interested in our healing sessions at the church.
She basically flings a pamphlet at you and makes her escape. Do you go along to Beryl's healing session at the local church? You're certain she knows something, and maybe with more prompting she'll tell you. Or Beryl could be trying to distract you from a real clue in her hand. The signal from the alien crystal is a much stronger lead.
So, Brett, we've got an alien crystal. There was a bit of a weird glitchy signal. Or we have a very, very unfriendly country town woman who has told you to join a healing session.
Yeah, I mean, I think my instincts will compel me to this alien crystal being a stronger lead and following Lang's coordinates. But I'm also, in a way feeling guided to that one, and which makes me want to resist a bit. That one seems like the obvious strong choice. Whereas like going to this healing session like is already like, you know, it's in quotes when it says healing session in the text. So we're already skeptical here. And I like the idea of the cool agent playing along with the bad guy to be like, oh yeah, totally. Let's get in there and see what's up.
Also, Dawn seems very emotional about her sister's death.
Oh, Dawn's sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Like her sister seems very unemotional about the thing. Like, I don't know. That seems suspicious to me.
Yeah, I think my only worry in the meta choose your own adventure style is that like we're popping into a healing session at a church and that we're going to be accosted by a bunch of aliens that have power over us, and this is their way of like luring you in to prunify you.
Don't you want to get your chakras realigned?
Yeah.
I have to say that like the brainwashing thing, like it's definitely something that's the first thing that comes into mind when I see the term healing session. That's it just I think brainwashing. Sorry to anyone out there who may or may not be religious, and I'm sure that's delightful. But yeah, so I you know, she didn't necessarily like seem to indicate that she saw the crystal at all, but like, you know.
I also think just how flippant. So she basically flings a pamphlet at you and makes her escape. So I think if it was, at least to me, if it was an alien trying to like prunify you, they would be a little more, oh yeah, look at our amazing healing session, incredible. So I think her behavior is a little sus on both ends. So I'm intrigued by the healing session, even though it seems like the worst detective choice. It feels like the more interesting route for me.
So what you're saying is that you would not necessarily be a good cop because you don't automatically run towards the most dangerous scenario, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Which is what like paramedics, cops, fire, like people hear commotion and they normally run away, and like those people run towards.
Right. There's
right.
actually something that I do when I play video games that sometimes frustrates people that are watching me play, and that's whenever there's an obvious path presented in front of me, I just go the other way immediately.
I have to say, just referencing back to a little bit further in that piece where you talked about Lang licking the crystal, Rebecca. I was like, I had so many feels for that because like I did a geology major as part of my degree in Adelaide, and the number of rocks you lick is surprising.
I'm genuinely surprised to hear that. Like,
yes. And then now think about the fact that there are these samples in the geology department that have been sampled for at least 10 to 15 to 20 years, and that people in the class licked those.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why, like, out of all the rocks you could lick, why would you lick ones that had been in a department for 20 years? Do you know how many people probably licked those rocks? You're getting loogies from 20 years ago. Like, no.
Do you know what that, if I can make one more segue here, or aside, it made me think of, I don't know if you guys ever watched House MD.
No.
It's basically like Sherlock Holmes, but for curing diseases is kind of the premise of it. And it's Hugh Lowry. It's really fantastic. But there's one episode where a patient of his pukes on the floor.
No.
And he has to diagnose it. And so he actually in front of all his med students, he goes, and now for the pièce de résistance.
Oh!
No.
And he diagnoses part of their disease based on the taste of their puke.
Ew. Was he right at least?
He was, yeah.
Oh, God.
The main thing about House is he's a
always
complete
right.
asshole, but he's almost always right.
All right, okay. So we're going to the healing session, which means that we're going to the Uniting Church. Oh, that does mean we missed the country music hall, though. How sad.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
It has a hat on it and everything.
Yeah. I mean, like, just based on the location alone, Brett, you may want to change your mind. But but it's okay. We'll show you the country music hall in person. All right. Well, not in person, in Street View. But like, we'll come back to it. All right. So we're going down main Barmera Street. This is very typical, like, you know, pagodas. You would see Foodland. It's a big South Australian food chain. You'll see all of the cafes and bakeries here. They've got delicious meat pies.
They have Sunday markets along that main street as well.
Ooh,
And really good
lovely.
vanilla slice in the bakery, if it's still open.
Ooh, yes. Well, I mean, Lang did convince me that it was a must the next time I'm in Barmera. So we're
I have
here.
a quick question.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go.
How do you guys pronounce burl or barrel in Australia? What's the
Barrel?
barrel? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have my Auntie Burl, who is spelled the same way. Okay. Barrel. Gotcha.
And then our little church should be just down here. Oh, yep, there we go. See the steeple? Wah, wah. Oh, Anglican church. Isn't that lovely?
It's a pretty little
There you go.
building.
Yeah. Actually, there was a couple of churches as locations in this
Mm.
story, weren't there?
There's actually quite a few churches in Barmera.
Yeah. So it's just like you see these kind of little scrubby trees. Like this is so country Australia anywhere. And then these kind of like sandstone buildings with like verandas around them and the tin roofs and the A-frame. It's not because there's going to be snow. It's because of the like of the potential rain that could come. And like the sound of rain on a tin roof is like the loudest thing you will ever hear. It's crazy. All right, Uniting Church. We're going to a healing session.
I'm going to attempt and fail at, for the listener's pleasure, an Australian accent with barrel. I know I can't do one, so whatever comes out, please enjoy and make fun of me mercilessly.
All right. You followed the directions on the pamphlet to the tiny church on the corner. It has whitewashed walls and a neat garden out the front. The beautiful stained glass windows betray nothing about the interior. The roof has a tall spire made of a darker metal that's mismatched with the rest of the cheerful building. Then you hear someone approach. It's Beryl.
You've come for the meeting.
Shall I step in as Beryl?
Oh no! We're rolling with this. This is happening.
She
Okay.
sounds
Continue.
surprised, as if she didn't expect you to actually show up.
My uncle wants to know more.
You say, deciding to avoid the subject of her sister for now.
What sort of healing is it?
Beryl's expression brightens.
Astrid Crane runs the sessions. She's an incredible healer. She uses vibrational energy to clear your body's toxins.
Lang nods as if he understands what that means.
Yep, can't do any better than crystal quartz.
Is the barrel right now?
Beryl. This is sure.
Oh god, it's amazing. Astrid uses a blue light crystal discovered by an Amazonian tribe.
She describing the bit of glowing blue crystal you found at the clock tower.
Was your sister at these sessions?
You ask.
Why?
Beryl's expression closes off again. You think fast.
My grandfather loved her art.
a few pieces. Was sad to hear about it when we came into town.
Lang is so sincere that you almost buy his act yourself. Letting out a breath, Beryl says,
Dawn was troubled. We were in Astrid's group together, but then one day she stopped going, locked herself in the house. Really? She said crazy things about Astrid, that she was draining people and planning to take over the town. Just got to British. I don't know what I'm doing. Texan. We got into a fight. Sorry, I don't want to talk about it.
That's all right, love.
says Lang in a gentler tone. He pats her on the shoulder with a sun-browned hand.
We'll be off. Unless you're running a session now.
Before she can answer, someone calls out.
Astrid.
Responds Beryl in a nervous voice. There's a mixture of awe and fear on her face. The newcomer is a tall woman with sleek, blonde hair and glowing tan skin. She could belong on the cover of some fitness magazine. Her smile is dazzling. Next to Astrid Crane, Beryl seems faded.
Is this Beryl?
No, this is Astrid.
I can do Astrid if you like.
Great.
Go for it.
Please do.
Greetings. How are we today? What are we discussing?
She puts a bony hand on Beryl's shoulder. Her speech is strangely stilted and formal, as if she's not used to speaking English.
Oh shit! I should have taken her. I should have failed an Australian accent.
We can swap.
This
We can
clearly
swap.
failed alien woman. Yeah, let's swap. So I'll have a terrible Australian accent for this stilted formal woman.
All right, so Beryl. Astrid, I was just inviting these two to our group.
Our healing session has been cancelled.
The woman says in a brisk tone.
We have an important energy raising ceremony at the amphitheater. Only open to experienced members. We are not accepting new members. Perhaps tomorrow. Tomorrow, then.
You say. Astrid takes Beryl's arm in a vice grip and drags her away. You hear,
Yeah, why don't you pick up the tuning equipment we needed for the Scouts Hall?
do you? Head for the amphitheater and crash this shifty energy session. If Craven is planning something, you want to act now. Or tail Beryl to the Scouts Hall where she's picking up the equipment. Maybe you can persuade Beryl to help you stop Crane. Anyone? Brett?
Well, I get to fail at an Australian accent again if we follow Crane.
In both directions. Both directions, my friend. There will be
Oh,
some
so we're
Australian accents. So, because yeah, you're right. Because Crane splits. Because Crane goes off in one direction towards the amphitheater, and then Beryl is going to the Scouts Hall to pick up the equipment.
Well, Rebecca has unburdened me on the duty of Beryl. Okay. From an investigator standpoint, let me think about this. So the amphitheater and crash the shifty energy session. That would certainly track with like the current choice of going into see what the enemy is up to. And in the previous one where it was like, oh, check out the crystal lead, that would have been the pick up the equipment in this case. So the good clues versus the investigate the enemy. I think both from a hear Brett do a terrible accent and consistency in choices, I think the shifty energy session is the way to go.
I think so,
Okay.
but also like it says, like you're saying, maybe you can persuade Beryl to help you stop Crane. Beryl seems like a very weak-willed individual when around.
She does. No,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Right? Like, although she isn't going to be like in Astrid's sphere, obviously, when she's picking up the equipment, but still, it doesn't feel like she's particularly persuadable. It seems like she's already kind of under a bit of a thing. So maybe, yeah, crashing the party is the way we do this. All right. So you're going to the amphitheater, everybody, which is thankfully only just down the street. Look at this, just some beautiful playground equipment. So, like, you know, we've got roses in the middle there. That's very fancy. Look at all of this is the football fields. This is Australian rules football, AFL.
Center of the town.
Yeah, and you can see here, center of the town, 2 big poles and then 2 little poles. You get 6 points if you get the footy through the middle 2 poles, and then you get 1 point for trying.
I don't know.
1 point for trying.
I don't know anything about sports.
If you get it between the other 2 poles. So
Those are called millennial points.
that's right. They just wanted to give everybody a fair go, Brett. I think that you'll find. Oh, maybe we can't go any further. Is this the end of our?
Dun, dun, dun.
Why would
No, you should be able to keep going because there's like a section.
For some reason, it's just skipping. It's just for some reason in here, Google just did not capture an image.
They couldn't get that one street to sign a waiver.
Right. Okay, so our amphitheater is kind of.
So while you're looking for it,
Goodness.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
down
of,
there. I'm pretty sure.
This one here or?
Not the way we've been, but so when you're standing at the intersection, the right-hand turn.
Okay, so this way.
Yeah, down that street.
Ooh,
If it will let you.
come on, Google.
blocked.
What?
It says it's there.
I mean, you can definitely drive down that street in real life. Like, you can definitely walk down there. It's not
And
like
is
an
that-
invisible force field.
On our reference document here, we have a picture
Oh.
of Google Street View as well. Is that the correct?
The amphitheater is like on this side.
Mm.
That bit.
Yeah,
there?
it's near the shorefront. Yep.
I wonder if it'll.
Can we just pull up the picture from the? Any chance we can pull up the picture from the story here?
Yeah. So.
From memory, it's like right on the shorefront, and it's kind of set the series of steps that's set in, and it's on the edge of the lake, basically.
Yeah. So like, I'm just trying to see whether we can like get
There you
closer
go.
to the lake, but like, maybe not. Maybe.
Well, the pictures are actually quite close to the real life stuff. Like it's.
Yeah, I reckon it's this thing right here,
Yeah.
but it's not letting us into that. Google, you're so weird.
No,
I reckon it's
thanks, Google.
It's that thing right there. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's literally not letting us go here. There. Oh no, that's a beach volleyball area.
Oh, I think it's further down then, but it is
Okay.
definitely along that shorefront somewhere.
Whee! Let's go. Let's go further down, shall we? Or not. We could not go further down, Google.
So I was as we search, I was doing the Australian accent and totally failing it. Reminds me of when I first was singing in jazz choirs. I was singing in a group called Form, and we did an arrangement, kind of a medley of this one song, and we were just goofing around, and we tried to do it in different styles. And we found like a lot of different styles we could do the song in, and so we transitioned between these, and then we actually took the time to formally arrange it so the song transitioned between these different styles, and we wanted to kind of like up the ante a bit, and so someone was like, can someone like dance to these different styles? And I am not a dancer in the same way that I cannot do an Australian accent. And I got voluntold. I was like, yeah, I'll say yes to that. So we would switch between the styles of the song, and some would call it a dance style, like Celtic or belly dancer or hip hop and that sort of thing. And for a year straight of performances, I just made up whatever my impression of that dance was.
You just flailed your
moment.
arms around
Yeah,
like one of those
essentially
car yard
flailed
things
around.
and hoped it worked.
Yeah. Which is how I feel when I'm trying to do an Australian accent right now.
To be fair, I think you're definitely not the first person to fail at an Australian accent. Many famous actors have tried.
I'm trying to figure out like where this amphitheater is because it's not appearing on Street View, but that seems like it's too far down the street, right?
So there should be like a boat ramp type thing.
Yeah, so there's a boat ramp just there.
And that should be like next to the boat ramp.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is like the Street View images that are when the story was done type thing. And that they haven't gotten rid of the amphitheater
Well,
since.
so this is 2014. So
yeah, so it's like
yeah.
I think it's that's the boat ramp, and then I think it's like next to like directly next to the boat ramp.
Yeah, because this kind of looks just like a parking lot, but I don't know.
So it's set like kind of low down, further down. So I don't think you could directly see it from Street View.
From Street View. Oh yeah, that might be it. Okay, beautiful. All right, well, here we are on the lakeside. That's all that matters, everybody. Or those listening to the podcast, you won't be able to know, but like we're on this beautiful lakefront. There's lots of wonderful eucalyptus trees. We have a lot of very 80s style, 90s style Australian buildings, and a boat ramp with a little black kind of thing hanging in the water, which, you know, matches quite nicely the wonderful bit of artwork that we have here. All right, Brett, all you.
All right, narration time. The amphitheater is ringed by trees. A set of stone steps leads to the lakefront where Astrid's followers are sitting. And in the center of the half circle is a strange machine. Alien technology. You can see that at once. It's an oblong black box with a huge crystal longer than your arm set in the center. Astrid is operating several buttons and dials on the box below the crystal, covered in alien writing like runestones in the metal.
You got a plan?
You got a plan?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry,
Rebecca.
Lang. I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
Says Lang.
I'm
thinking. Oh, I took yours now. Oh, no.
All right. Let's start with Lang's line. This is going to be fine.
You got a plan?
Says Lang.
I'm thinking.
You whisper. A gathered mass has congregated on the steps of the amphitheater. They are sitting in a trance, weakened by Astrid's influence.
Oh,
Deeper, she intones in a calm voice. You can feel your energy settle,
The crystal.
says Lang.
She's feeding on them.
The crystal pulses with a blue glow, getting brighter. Faint threads of energy trace along the veins beneath the skin of her victims. The humming intensifies, and the crystal and Astrid glow with a golden light. Her followers are growing older by the second. Their hair turns white and wiry with age, their skin wrinkles, and their backs stiffen like trees bent by a relentless wind. Beryl enters the amphitheater, holding a crystal. She looks dazed. Come here, says Astrid, speaking. I can see you guys laughing at me when I'm talking from the side. Says Astrid, speaking in a deep monotone. Her hypnotic tone, that's, my hypnotic tones, and the machine weaken Beryl's willpower. She shuffles forward, and Astrid pulls the crystal out of her limp grasp. You've been so useful. Astrid adds the second crystal to a slot, and Beryl collapses to the floor as the power of the drain doubles. You fire your ray gun, but you're too hasty. It only hits Astrid on the shoulder. Her face splits into a grin, and she turns the dial to the max. The crystal hums, and it's brighter than the sun. Around you, Astrid's followers drop to the ground as withered husks. This town will feed me for decades to come, she crows. I'm really emphasizing the direness of the situation. Lang has already succumbed. You look down at your hands. They're wrinkled and bony. You fall to your knees as energy drains from your body and your eyes grow heavy. Dying is almost too easy.
Bow, bow, bow.
Shit! This is what I thought would happen, is that you get drawn into
Failed.
you get drawn into the alien's thing by going to their healing thing and then going to their
Well, look,
Reiki crystal thing.
You have been proven right, Brett. You
Never
have
take pamphlets from people on the street.
True. And I like that.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, keep going.
No, I like that Beryl was like the mislead, right? Because she gives you the pamphlet and you're like, shit, she's an alien. But she's a little uncertain. And I like that Emily pointed out that she was like, this lady ain't gonna stand up to no aliens. She's a husk of a woman already. No, I
Do we want to see
Okay.
what would have happened if we tailed Beryl? We can. We're allowed.
I don't know if we have time, if we can rush this, but I really want to be like, can we do the good detective choices?
Yeah, like if you followed the actual crystal.
Yeah, right off the bat when Lang's like, here's the crystal clue, let's do this, and not like walk blindly into the den of vipers.
Walk straight into the trap.
Yeah.
Go down the stairs into the creepy basement. It's fine.
See, I don't know how, the reality is I don't know how cool of an agent I am, right? Because if I'm like James Bond or something, then yeah, I walk into the Viper's den and I have a smoke and a drink with them, and then when they're ready to turn on me, I'm like, oh, don't worry, one of my gadgets has got you. But
it's Australia. They just give you a ray gun and they're like, good luck, mate.
Exactly. So
well,
maybe
Brett, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but this is the premise of the show. The choices that you make in real life, Brett, you can't undo.
You're right.
Right? Except for the very last choice, which you can because we have time.
Okay.
But
How convenient.
But if you, like Brett, would like to know what would happen if you'd made the actual obvious detective choices, as he so lovely puts it, then you too can just download Story City from about.storycity.app, turn on spoiler mode, and tap through the story yourself and figure out what would have happened if you had made better decisions than we did. So,
Good thing, Emily.
yeah, right.
Cool
there.
as a cucumber.
Cool as a cucumber right here. All right, so let's instead go to the Scout Hall, which is only slightly further down this street.
And which chapter is this then?
So this is 9. This is the Scout Hall, right? This guy right here. Pretty sure it is.
Oh, you're saying Scout Hall.
Scout Hall.
I keep hearing Scout Hole.
Yeah, that's it.
Hole.
Scout Hall.
Hole. See, this is why I'm bad at Australian accents.
Honestly, the Scout Hall could end better for us. So, right here. This looks promising. Oh yeah, that is our Scout Hall.
Yeah.
A little bit down here. Look at that. Very nice, very flash roller door. Right here. All right. The Scout Hall is boarded, and it's Hall. Scout Hall is
The Scout's Hole.
is bordered by a low wooden fence and some gnarled old trees. The small windows are shuttered, preventing you from seeing what could be happening inside. As you get closer to the building, the door opens and someone walks out. It's Beryl. She's holding a large crystal in her hands, about the size of a tub of butter. She starts at the side of you. Yeah, that's you. This is all you, Rebecca. She starts at the side of you and backs away.
Why are you following me? What do you want?
You put up your hands in a peaceful gesture.
We need your help to investigate Astrid.
What? But she hasn't done anything wrong. Who are you?
Asio.
Azio.
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 Azio is what you're after.
I saw Asio. That's the porn version.
You lie. It's close to the truth. Close enough. She's still staring at you in disbelief. A shadow of fear crosses her face.
Is this about my sister?
We know Dawn disagreed with Crane.
You say?
We think she might have discovered something. Do you know anything at all?
Beryl is shaking her head in disbelief.
No, you're lying.
Have you been feeling tired lately? Aren't people acting weird? Like, not themselves? Not just your sister?
You press further.
How long have you really known Astrid?
I don't know, 3 months maybe?
She seems afraid of the admission. You press your hunch.
Are you sure she's hasn't only been here for 3 days, not months? Arriving at the same time your sister started freaking out?
You can see the light start to dawn in her eyes, but you're interrupted. This is you, Brett.
Oh no, is it?
Yes, in your weird Australian accent.
Oh, I'm Astrid. Beryl, do you have my second crystal?
It's Astrid. She looks falsely concerned as she walks up and places a hand on Beryl's shoulder. Behind her, a crowd of followers carrying a machine between them. There's a crystal at the center, 1/2 meter tall and thicker than your forearm. It's glowing faintly. The bearers weaken with every step. Some of them collapse and are left behind. Beryl seems oblivious to the weird alien writing all over the machine and the vibrant energy that fills Astrid as the machine gets closer. How much control does Astrid have over Beryl's mind?
Tell me that's not true. Tell me you had nothing to do with Dawn.
You can hear the doubt in Beryl's voice.
Of course not.
Says Craven.
These people are full of negative energy. Oh, this is Astrid again. Sorry. Of course not. These people are full of negative energy. They want to stop you fully transcending.
The crystal emits a deep hum. It's almost headache-inducing at this frequency. You can see how pale and tired her followers look, slumped where they sit. Lang is creeping closer to the machine, his hand resting on his ray gun in its holster.
Come, sit with us.
Says Astrid. Beryl takes a step forward. Her gaze darts towards you. Astrid lunges forward suddenly and seizes Lang's arm in a inhuman grip, bending his fingers until she can prise away the gun. The more energy she absorbs, the stronger she grows.
Don't move.
With her other hand, she pulls the second crystal from Beryl's limp grasp and slots it next to its larger counterpart. You feel your limbs weakening and you join Lang in a crumpled heap on the ground. Astrid grunts in satisfaction and turns her full attention to the machine. You have to act. You have to take advantage of her confidence and slowly, painfully removing your own ray gun from its holster, you take careful aim and fire. Some of the assembled followers murmur in their sleep. A few of them even open their eyes from their stupor. Astrid screams in rage, and it gives Beryl enough of a distraction to break free. Despite her weakened state, she manages to lift the crystal from its base and throws it to the ground. There's a loud crack as it splinters through the middle.
No!
Astrid shrieks. The absorbed energy is released from the crystal in a sudden burst of light that dazzles you. When you blink away, the spots in your vision, you find Astrid lying at the base of the machine, withered and emaciated, her hair a wisp of snowy white. Soon agents are swarming on the scene, helping the stunned followers and tending to Lang's broken hand. Beryl looks at you pale and wide-eyed.
You're not from Asio, are you?
No, not exactly.
Dun, dun, dun.
I love, Emily, that you started pronouncing emaciated as emancipated
Yeah, I did.
and rolled with it.
She's freed them from their mortal coil.
That's right. I was like, whoop, here we go. We're already on this ride. So can you remember what ASIO stands for?
Australian
Something International Operations.
Secret Intelligence Organization?
Oh, nice.
It might be actually.
It's actually an acronym that I am familiar with in another context, because ASIO it is a audio input. So I think it means audio stream input output, and it's how computers record from microphones and keyboards and that sort of thing at a low latency. So before ASIO, you would play on your keyboard, and it would be like it would be very delayed, so it'd be impossible to play. But with ASIO, all of a sudden it became like snappy, and so it essentially felt like you were playing a regular piano. And with all the recording and audio stuff I've done, I've seen that term constantly. So when I first saw that, I was like, you're not from the audio stream input output organization, are you?
So it stands for Australian Security Intelligence Organisation.
Okay.
So it is Australia's version of the CIA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Cool.
also, just to look up the Country Music Hall Barmera. This is the Country Music Hall.
Yes.
In
Okay, so
Barmera.
there's the hat and the little guitar.
Isn't it
Apparently,
so kitsch? Whoop, whoop.
Apparently they used to have quite fairly big country singers visit before they had issues with floods and all that kind of thing, and it got cancelled through the COVID pandemic and all that. But they had a little bit like the Tamworth Music Festival. So not that I know all that much about country music, but people were like, oh yeah, it's this massive thing for all the country music people. So yeah.
Nice. I enjoy this backyard garden in the shape of the guitar. That is super kitsch, and I'm on board.
Very country.
Yeah, very, very country. I enjoy that greatly. Actually, whoa, where am I? Whoa, what did I do? Thanks, Google. Yeah, so beautiful, fun little country music hall right there. Just gorgeous. And it even has a wagon wheel in front, because why not?
Oh, by the way, if you like country kitsch, there's a really cool restaurant called the Mallee Fowl, which is sort of between Berry and Barmera. And the whole interior is like this tin shed, has decorated wall to ceiling in old country memorabilia, antique stuff. They have an emu that kind of roams around and just wanders through the restaurant. It's full on. It's so cool. They also serve crocodile on the menu, so
I like it.
hopefully it's still open.
Yum, crocodile. I had a crocodile pie once. That was nice. But some of the wonderful endings that you could end up with, since there's some interesting tragedies here. As you can see here, some alien creatures are involved at various points. Not good. So these are some of the other endings that you could have ended up with here in our wonderful story. So just so everyone's primed for some fun and interesting things. So if you do want to figure out if you would have done any better than us and not died at the hands of Astrid on the lakefront, then please do feel free to download the Story City app at about.storycity.app, and all you need to do is turn on spoiler mode and you can tap your way through it, or you could do Berry and Barmera and Loxton a solid and go and visit them in the SA Riverland, help them recover from the floods that happened in that area, wander around Barmera yourself, maybe visit the Country Music Hall and Pioneers Museum in person, and then send us a tweet and let us know you've been there. Be great. Thank you so much, my wonderful guest stars, for joining me today.
Thank
Rebecca,
you.
it has been delightful to catch up with you again and to revisit your very, very fun story and to introduce people around the world to country Australia.
Yeah.
And Brett, as always, you bring absolute just passion to your attempted accents.
Well done. Good job.
We can also introduce people to Story City's.
I was gonna say I love your dog. Oh my god, so precious.
Mascot Pippin. Pippin is
a little dopey right now.
cutest puppy.
She's a little done.
Look at her. Look at her. And she's just like, she is the tiniest dog you have ever seen in your life. And then she gets a haircut, and then she's even tinier than you think she is. And she's got the kind of like mottled coat where she just like, she will, if you put her on something black, she just disappears.
She kind of looks a bit like an alien, actually. Like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
The best kind of alien.
Exactly. Rebecca, at this time we also say, you know, if anyone wants to find you online or at other fun things, they can do so at.
I actually don't have social media. I'm not on any social media at the moment. But if that changes in the future, I will update my details. Yeah, like I said, I'm doing the reclusive artist thing minus the art part. But if the art part ever comes back, I might emerge from the forest and, you know, brush off the leaves and start doing art again.
I love it. I love it a lot. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Rebecca.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
To have you and to everybody else, you are welcome to join us on Monday afternoons at 4 p.m. MST time or at 9 a.m. Australian time to do brainstorming. We have creator labs every Monday afternoon where you can come brainstorm a story. It doesn't have to be interactive. We will honestly brainstorm any story because we enjoy storytelling and we're just happy to do that with our community of creators. So please feel free to come along. Next week, we have a real treat. We have the absolutely delightful Isabel Carmody joining us here on the stream. So for those of you who don't know Isabel, she is an award-winning author of over 30 fantasy novels, including the Open Newton series. I was very lucky to have her as a writing mentor for a year back when I was first starting out in the trade, and she very kindly allowed me to badger her into writing a city story called The Omicron in Brisbane, and it is a story involving parallel universes, The Walking Dead, and circular objects. Make of that what you will.
That is super exciting.
Next week. That will be Friday, Australia time, Thursday night, North American time, live. Please feel free to drop any questions in the chat that you may have that you would like us to ask her during that time. But Isabel is also a fabulous voice actor, so I'm very much looking forward to having her next week as well, because she was the one who narrated the entirety of the Omicron story.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We'll see you next week.